Hi, I'm Taylor Smurl.
And I'm Tommy Smurl.
And this is
Neat.
This week on the podcast, we talked all about our part one of Russian vodka. So we talked about the history. We talked about how it was introduced to Russia and sort of some of its early forms.
Why it was so loved and endeared to the Russian people and was actually the foundation of their entire governmental economy.
So, one of the things that I talked about was that the early vodka that was made in Russia was very different from the vodka we drink now and the vodka that became iconically associated with Russia, which is very clean, usually like triple distilled. It's meant to be like just sort of ethanol and water, very few flavor molecules remaining. But the early vodka would have been a lot more flavorful. And it was distilled usually from grains, from rye or wheat or barley, and that it would have had a very intense kind of bready flavor to it. So for today's video, we're going to be making some classic vodka cocktails. Dad's going to be using a classic Russian vodka.
Stoli. It was the only actual Russian vodka I could find, so I'm using this one.
A lot of it's fine to say a lot of vodka that sounds Russian is made in Poland. Speaking of which, I was very excited by the existence of this spirit. This is Poligar, which is based on old Russian breadwine. So they're basically reviving the old lost recipe for this. So it's pot stilled vodka basically, and this one happens to be distilled from rye and wheat. It's a little bit lower proof. It's 38.5%. So this is still like the original Poligar would have been more like 28, 24%. So it's still a little higher alcohol than what they would have had a few centuries ago, but it's a little lower than vodka, and it's definitely got a lot more flavor from that pot still versus a column still. However, it is interesting in that while they have revived the Russian recipe, this is also made in Poland.
Well, that was the thing. I saw one, it was named Vladimir. Now, surely that's a Russian vodka. No, it's made in America.
When you think of Russian cocktails, you probably think of the Moscow Mule and the White Russian, right? So we're going to be making those. Dad's going to be making them with more traditional vodka. I'm going to be making them with the Poligar, and we're going to just kind of see if there's any noticeable difference.
I saw that one of them in there, I think we were named after, but it just shortened our name maybe after we came to America. It was Smirnoff.
No, I think it was Smirnoff.
Maybe I looked too fast.
Yeah, that's Smirnoff. That's a brand too.
Darn it, I was hoping we'd have a relative that would die and leave us the Smirnoff fortune.
No, there is no Smirnoff. If you do see Smirnoff vodka on a menu, it's probably off-brand.
Just like us, huh?
I know, that's like a weird like a Kmart brand or like a Sam's Club brand vodka. Smirnoff, yes. So we're gonna jump right in here. We're gonna start with a Moscow Mule. Very basic, very classic cocktail. Very simple. You can build it in a glass. Now, if you have the right glass, which I don't, Dad does. Ta-da!
There's my Moscow Mule Mug.
Yeah.
That was courtesy of Michael and Stephanie. Michael, my partner on Court Appointed, because his wife, Stephanie, loves Moscow Mules. So she wanted us to have a set of glasses, like official cups. So when she comes over, we can fix them for her in this.
I unfortunately do not have any. I'm going to be building mine in a Collins glass. Probably how you'd get it in a bar if that bar did not stock copper glassware. Most of the bars I've worked at have not had those cute little mugs because people steal them.
That's what I would figure would be the problem.
So we're just going to load up our glass with ice. We're going to build this one in the glass.
Now what, maestro?
Well, so we're going to do a little bit of citrus in this, just a half ounce of fresh lime juice. And then 2 ounces of your vodka, but in my case, I've got my bread wine.
Now the ginger beer?
Yep, and then we're just going to top it with our ginger beer. I've got Fever Tree ginger beer. I like Fever Tree. They make variations of tonic and ginger beer. I really like their products.
I got Ryan Gosling's ginger beer because I figure he's not making enough when he's acting, so we need to help support his drinking habit.
Okay, he's not affiliated with that.
Are you sure?
Yes, Gosling's is associated with ginger beer because they also have a really excellent blackstrap rum, really excellent dark rum that is traditionally used in dark and stormies, which is sort of the rum sibling of the Moscow Mule. The only difference between Moscow Mule and a dark and stormy is that this is vodka base and the dark and stormy is rum base. So Gosling's, recognizing how iconic it is in a dark and stormy, made their own ginger beer to go along with the cocktail.
I thought maybe if it was Ryan Gosling that it would make me better looking if I drank it. Of course, if you drink enough of them, you'll think that you're richer and better looking. That's the way that works.
You drink enough Gosling-based cocktails, and you will indeed believe you're Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, it's the alcohol more than the ginger beer that does it.
Maybe. All right, we're just gonna give this just a little baby stir.
Yeah, that's what I figured we needed one, so I gave it one there.
Yeah. You just want to incorporate the ingredients. Not really. You're not trying to dilute it. And then garnish for a Moscow Mule, just a lime wedge.
One lime wedge coming up. All Doesn't that look tasty and refreshing?
Here we go. Here are our Moscow Mules. Cheers.
Cheers.
Behind the cauldron. Cauldron's in the shop today. So I was curious how the polar would show up in the drink, and if it would. And I feel like maybe I should have led with this, but I'm going to do it now.
It's a behind the back play there. That's pretty good.
There you go.
Only an experienced bartender can do that.
That's some flair. It's not flair. Just real fast here, because I do want. Yeah, I tried it straight when I was setting up for this, but just to kind of emphasize the difference here, this spirit does not taste like vodka. It has a distinct creamy, bready sweetness to it. If you've had like a super malty beer before, that has that like sweet malt flavor, that is very much what this carries with it. And it's not like an incredibly overpowering flavor. So I was curious to see if it would show up in these drinks. And I have to say it actually does. In the case of the Moscow Mule, I don't know if I dig it. I don't know if I like a bready rye spiciness to my Moscow Mule. What are you working on there?
I thought I'd see how tasteless mine is.
Yeah, I mean, see if you pick up on anything, because there's a lot here. Even on the nose, like the nose smells like bread. It smells like fresh baked bread.
Pretty much straight ethanol.
And see, this is like, I love on its own. When I first tried this, I was so excited by it because it reminds me of sort of like Geneva, which is like a malted gin basically. And I think it really like makes me excited about all the things you could do with it. But in this one case, I don't know if it works better than vodka would, because in the case of the Moscow Mule, I don't necessarily know if introducing like dry, sort of savory, bready flavors to ginger and lime really work for it. In this case, I would say your filtered vodkas work great, or if you want something different, go with a rum.
And I've got the cup too.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe the cup makes it taste better, but no. I
know the cup gets cold.
Having the traditional Moscow Mule, how do you find it?
Oh, I think it's really good. I like it. I never had really tried one as many as Stephanie had here and got Mom to drink. I never did really try them. I just stuck to beer.
Now let's move on to our next drink, which is another classic. It's not Russian in origin. Neither of these are Russian in origin. They're just named after Russia. But we're talking about the White Russian next. The dude's favorite cocktail. Not my dad. I don't think it's my dad's favorite cocktail. But
hey, if the dude invited me to come drinking with him, it would be my favorite cocktail because I would drink it too.
Anybody that specializes in something is, I think, always distracted in movies where that thing is involved. So for me, it's whenever there's drink mixing or bartending in a movie, I can't help but go like, ugh. And I love how the dude makes White Russians in The Big Lebowski. Because yes, he just pours them into the glass, stirs them over a little bit of ice. It's not measured. He never jiggers it, but his pours are pretty aware of the right proportions of a White Russian. Like he does a bigger pour of vodka, he does a slightly smaller pour of Kahlua, and then he does a splash of cream. And that sort of translates into how you make a good White Russian. But I like that there is that awareness in Jeff Bridges' character, like decisions.
To make it right, not just throw it in there.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's the one that he's making in his glass, I could believe is like somebody that knows how to make one and can just eyeball it correctly.
So you're the type that picks apart drink mixing in movies the way that Sydney picks apart medical practices in movies that have medical things going on.
Oh, absolutely, yes. And I yes.
I do that with railroad movies. Movies that have railroad stuff. Say, oh, that wouldn't happen. Oh, he's violating a safety rule.
I actually, years ago, I was working at a bar in the city, and somebody had bought out the bar for the early afternoon to do a film shoot. So they were supposed to be out of there by the time we opened, but there was an overlap where I was going to be there setting up the bar, and they were still going to be filming. And they asked me to come a little early because they're like, well, they might need you to make some drinks to be in the movie. I was like, sure, no problem. So I was willing to help. I was there and I was on the clock, but they just were just not interested in interacting with me. They were just taking over part of the bar and doing their own thing and touching bottles. And I was like, And what really bothered me was these characters did like the cliche, like things I hate in movies where someone goes, I'll have a beer. And the bartender goes, okay. And there's never a clarification of what beer. It's like you can't sit down at a bar and order a beer and get.
There's only one beer. That's all we carry is one beer, and it's universal.
No. So somebody ordered a beer, and then there was no further conversation. The other person ordered a dirty martini, which if you ever had a dirty martini, it's cloudy. It doesn't look like water. It's cloudy. It has olive juice in it. And like, I'm listening to them shoot this and they're just coming and not talking to me, not treating me like a human, just get out of our way. And they're filling a martini glass with like water from the tap. And I'm just like, I could literally like, it's not a big deal, but also I'm right here. Like, could you I just sat there and gritted my teeth while they served this woman a crystal clear, supposedly extra dirty martini. Just lukewarm water in a coupe glass. It's like, okay, that's fine.
Make the damn drinks right.
Whatever you think. Like, if you don't want to interact with me because I'm a peasant, that's fine. I could help you and I wouldn't ask you for money, but this is what you want to do, so do it.
Have at it. You're on your own.
Yeah. End of story being, Jeff Bridges clearly did his research because even though he's free pouring his White Russian, he free pours what looks like a respectable White Russian. So kudos to Jeff Bridges.
And that's why he's one of my heroes.
The dude clearly abides.
The dude abides and mixes.
Yes. All right. So White Russian, yeah. And then the thing about proportions of White Russians are everybody has their own way they like it. What I'm going to recommend today is that we do 2 ounces of vodka. We do 1.5 ounces of our coffee liqueur, Kahlua, whatever, and then 1 ounce of cream. Sound good?
All right.
All right. And then once again,
I guess we ice it.
Yeah, I got one big cube. I think you got little cubes.
I got little cubes. All right. So 2 ounces of vodka. All right. Now 1.5 ounces of the Kahlua.
Yep. So you're using Kahlua. I've got this Fair Cafe coffee liqueur, just a cool like French made coffee liqueur, but whatever your coffee liqueur of choice.
And then 1 ounce, you say, of the heavy cream?
Yep, 1 ounce. Gonna give it a little, kind of similar to the Moscow Mule, just to stir enough to combine. We're not trying to dilute anything.
You just don't want to have separate layers.
Exactly. Yeah. If somebody's paying me for it, I'll like grate some nutmeg on top, or like throw a coffee bean in there. But if you're making it at home, you don't need a garnish. The dude doesn't garnish his drinks.
Traditional.
I expect that.
No, the traditional garnish on the glass is your lips.
There you go. Oh, you didn't even cheers me. All right.
I was too busy garnishing my drink.
You're right.
Cheers, you.
Right. No, fair.
Cheers, you.
Cheers.
You know me, I like those kind of drinks. I would have you remember you made me some mudslides at the beach?
They did, yeah.
Now, what I would probably do, instead of putting the heavy cream, I would have put in some Baileys.
Yeah, I think a lot of people actually think Bailey's is the cream in a White Russian. There are a lot of recipes that just call for that. If you look on the internet, I think even Bailey's proper website includes themselves in the White Russian. They just decided,
okay.
we go here. It's not traditional, but it isn't. If that's what you like, if you want a little sweeter, a little bit more boozy, fine, do it. Now, this is a case where I will say the Polgar, the bread wine, works really well because there is this nice roasty, bready quality that is marrying with like the sweet coffee notes. It's almost like a bread pudding flavor that is so good. So I think like subbing in the bread wine for vodka in this drink actually works really well.
Yeah, I have to say, I like the Moscow Mule, but between the two, I like this one better.
Well, I could believe that.
But that's also Jeff Bridges drinks it, so that might lean me that way a little bit. Sorry, Ryan Gosling. I got to go with Jeff Bridges.
I like how you've anthropomorphized these cocktails into Ryan Gosling versus Jeff Bridges.
That's what I'm naming my cocktails. Ryan Gosling and Jeff Bridges.
I think that's a great way of looking at these drinks.
Join us next week for Hollywood Cocktails.
And yeah, as far as subbing in the bread wine, like I said, the Moscow Mule, maybe it's a bit of a downgrade. I think it's an upgrade on the White Russian. But we have another week of vodka cocktails in front of us, so we covered some traditional Russian associated cocktails this week. Next week we'll maybe do a bit weirder, more fun things, but you know.
We'll have to be putting our imaginations to work.
Thank you for being here, Dad. Thank you for joining us.
Why, Taylor, thank you for having me.
Always happy to have you here. Always happy to have a drink with my dad. That's what this has become for me. I just get to like have a drink with my dad on Friday nights, and that's nice.
There you go.
All right, and of course, if you want to find us on social media, you can find us on Twitter or Instagram at NeatBoozecast. You can email us at neattheboozecast@gmail.com. You can join our Patreon where you will get stickers and coasters and also our forever love.
And you can join us on our Facebook page. Neat.
Yeah, join us on our Facebook page. And we are now hosted on a network. We're on Audio Boom, so check out everything else that goes on there. I've been Taylor Smurl.
I've been Tommy Smurl.
And this has been
Neat. Yeah, I like that White Russian. Jeff Bridges knew what he was doing.
How much of your life is patterned after Jeff Bridges? I feel like you got a hair thing going, you got a drink thing going.
Maybe I'm slowly becoming him.
I think that's your goal, though. I don't think you're against that.
Well, I was trying to be friends with him. I've started following him on Twitter so that maybe we could hook up and, he could invite me to go out for a drink or something.
You want to be friends with Jeff Bridges. I hope you get to be friends with Jeff Bridges.